What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallari here, one half of 7 Air Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway. We made it. It's number 99. Who would have thought we got this far, guys? Hope everyone is having a great Thursday. It's almost the end of the week, almost time to celebrate the weekend. Couple things real quick before I bring my guest on. One, I do apologize that Mark, Chris, Matt, and Ray couldn't be here. There's some personal things that came up. I think I saw Ray in the chat, but don't worry, guys. We're going to be rescheduling them, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed with who's coming on. But real quick, don't forget, head over, like, subscribe, share, follow Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. That way you don't miss anything that we post. That way you see everything that we add, all the videos, demos, talk shows, everything. Also, every Tuesday, Honky Tonk Highway hits the radio waves. That's right, every Tuesday, 2 to 4 UK, 9 to 11 here on the coast. Honky Tonk Highway is on Line Dancer Radio. It's pretty much what we do on the show here, but I get to play a lot of music. It's a fun time. Come and join me. Also, if you don't get time to watch, head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can download them and listen to them on the run. We take all the audio, yank it out. That way you can listen to the entire show. So, today's guest. I got a call this morning, had some issues. So I'm like, who can I have fill in for number 99? Texted my buddy. I go, hey, need a favor. And he was happy to oblige. Y'all all know him and love him. One of my closest and dearest friends. Ladies and gentlemen, superstar Brian B.
What up? What up?
What's going on, brother?
I get the job to replace 4 guys. That's rough. That's rough. Not even 1-to-1.
Yeah, I was supposed to have Mark Furnell and the boys who did Legends Tonight, who won World Dance Masters last year. And we're supposed to come to Boston on today's show. But some personal issues came up, and they want to reschedule, so we're going to reschedule them for a later time. And
Gotcha.
I couldn't cancel the show because then tomorrow's show wouldn't be number 100.
Right?
I can't do that. So
Who's on for 100?
I'm going to the Guyton compound for a 2-hour party.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's my birthday tomorrow, too.
So shut up.
So
Triple win.
So he called me up about a week ago and said, hey, let's do something crazy. Let's come back on the show. So I'm like, well, my 100th episode's coming up, and I'm trying to coincide it with my birthday. He goes, come on down. He goes, let's do it. Let's just have one big party. Let's both of us get on screen, have some fun. So tomorrow, 2 hours.
The mythical man of line dance,
Yep.
Guyton Monday, makes an appearance. That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah, it's going to be 2 hours of fun. And we've already did the interview with him, so there's no telling what might happen.
Of course. It never is. That's the part of the fun.
Wi-Fi permitting, we're going to try to be as close to the dock as possible.
That's cool.
So, but what have you been up to? I know we talk all the time, but I know a lot of people
Jeez.
I know you travel around some. You got to go at least take a couple trips during this whole quarantine.
Yeah, the quick rundown. So obviously, like everybody else, right? Like business was like, holy guacamole, we're closed, and how do we pay the bills? And we had a dance cruise business, and we had to shut that down, and that was a nightmare. And once we figured out we were going to survive, then I was like, well, it's lockdown, there's not much else to do. So we started doing RV trips. So I did 6 RV trips last year, and that was super fun.
Yeah, I was super jealous
and then
of
as
some
the
of your
kind of,
picks.
oh, dude, you're coming. I told you I bought one.
I know.
I bought and refurbed an RV.
Yep.
I'm hearing myself back from your side.
Hold that thought.
Is that me?
Nope. I might just need to adjust the volume a little bit.
I'll drink during the. I don't usually have bourbon this early in the day, but
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Only when I'm in town, right?
Well, that's different.
Hopefully that fixed the problem.
Yeah, so the RV trips were the fun thing last year, and then as the end of the year came in, it was I'd planned on moving at some point, moving a little bit out to the suburbs. So bought a new house and moved in November, and so that kept us busy for the past 2 months. And literally, I've been locked down in this stupid house, like aside of holidays and stuff like that, and like going to the bank and the post office and I've literally been locked in this stupid house, which is fine for now, but I need to get out here soon.
Right. By the way, real quick, I saw Kathy Chu bump in. I saw her post. Kathy, happy birthday. I just saw on Facebook right before we went live that it was your birthday today. Hope you're
Kathy G, happy Birthday.
Hope you're having a great day. Lots of birthdays this week. I said this the other day. Like Simon Ward's was today. Melissa Culbertson's was today.
I saw that. I saw Melissa's was today.
Jen and I's are tomorrow. It's just a crazy month for birthdays.
That's good.
So obviously with you own two dance events. You own a dance studio. You own an online dance business.
Yeah. There's no dance cruises. There's no dance events.
Cruises. So, I want to ask, and I know this has been a high topic amongst the shows, and you have 4 different ways you can answer because you're a dancer, you're a former competitor, and you can answer as event director, business owner. What do you think the future is coming up of getting back to more of a reality?
Yeah, it just depends on what angle you're talking from, right? Because studios are still studios, and thankfully we've survived pretty well. We're about as good as, and to give everyone some context, like we got to about 70% of our normal revenue, which if that was normal non-pandemic, it would have been awful. But for the pandemic, it was amazing.
Right.
50% is our break even. Like if we have to do 50% of our normal revenue to live. And that does not include, like that's tightening down everything. Our kids' studio closed, that's gone. So we've hovered between the 50 and 70% of our revenue, which is enough, and it's trending up, so the studio's gonna survive. And so I think those will build back slowly. Wedding business for us was helpful. Our hardcore students are still participating. Obviously, group classes have gone to poop. We haven't had a social dance since March.
I can imagine.
February. But from the event standpoint, it just depends on what type of event you're doing, right? Like if it's a social dance event and it's not tied to a competition, because the competitions have rules and then the organizations have to, decide how that works. Mm-hmm. Then it just becomes like you and your hotel. Like, what can you pull off with your hotel? And so we've tried. We tried to do something in October, and then COVID hit our studio, and so we nixed it, and we pushed it back a few weeks. And then it just didn't work. And then we tried to do Derby City Swing in any capacity, but we just can't. We can't. Obviously, we couldn't run it as a WSTC event. There's too many moving parts. And it just wasn't viable to do. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to the area of the country / world you're in, what your hotel contract works out to be, what your temperament is, what the temperament of your customers are. But I would expect that on the back half of the year that you'll see some events poke through in various ways, like Jen's event. Yeah. And then from there, it will just sort of like work its way back into something that looks somewhat normal, would be my guess. But it's not going to be uniform, right? We're all in different parts of the country, and there's different hotel contracts, and it depends on when you signed your contract, and the customers and dancers in the area, all that stuff.
Yeah. Bonnie, he's in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky.
She said we are way past cocktail time here.
Oh.
So they're late. It's later for them. I believe it's the left after 11 where Bonnie is. But yeah, so it's late for them. So they're way past the cocktail hour. So they're totally fine with the bourbon.
That's fun. Good. Yeah, I'm actually going to... Can I see the live chat if I'm in there?
You should be able to if you click on that button in the bottom.
Yeah, so that's the rundown of what's going on here. I'm still getting feedback. I'm hearing myself on delay.
Weird. I didn't get the feedback earlier. Let me adjust some things.
The good news is we are still, like, the dance business is still alive. The online lessons are still good. Private lessons are still good. The studio is still okay. So yeah, all is not lost. We're just kind of on like maintain mode. Just get through. I figure we got to get through this year. Like that's my whole goal of running the business is like, what do we need to do? I had a conversation with my mom who works for us. welcome to live TV as people just walk in the house behind me.
It happens.
Yeah. So that's
When do you foresee, as being a West Coast swing event director and a couples guy, when do you see the first social West Coast swing event possibly even considered happening?
I think it's going to come down to the temperament of the event director, to be perfectly honest. Like, when it's reasonably okay, who's going to be the one to throw their hat in the ring? That's going to be for me, that's going to be it. Like, is someone going to be gambly and just go a little early? Is someone going to wait till someone else does? I think it's going to really boil down to the temperament of the event director. And I just hope that whoever that is doesn't catch a horrific amount of flack like has happened so far.
Yeah. The amount of flack being given to people even considering it has been a little on the crazy side.
And that's part of my, decision to, not try to run an event. We did. I mean, the one we tried to run, it was going to be a country event. It was just going to be competition. We're going to limit it to 50 people, just competition. We could no social dancing, keep everyone away from one another. Yep. And I didn't tell anyone. Like, I just messaged people directly because I didn't want to catch any flack. There's just too many, crazy people out there that are willing to, slap your hand. You did it wrong, and so
Right.
Yeah.
So I loved having when I had Jimmy Mulligan on. He was telling me about some ballroom events that are happening, and it's pretty much the same thing. It's pure competition. You come in, you dance with
I mean, all of this, right, is like some sort of a, what's the word? Mitigation strategies, right? There's mitigation. Like, if you just stay in your bedroom and never leave the house, you'll never get the boogie woogies. But if you leave the house, once a month, well, you're opening yourself up. If you leave it once a week, if you leave it once a day, if you go, if you have to work around people in your job. Right. And so events are going to be the same thing. A competition, I can keep people away from each other. But a social event is just, we got into some hot water with our hotel trying to convince me to run an event. And I'm like, dude, our event is to get as many people in the ballroom for 3 straight days and dance 20 hours a day, like 22 hours a day, and touch each other and breathe on each other. And a lot of the customers are older. Like,
yes,
that's awful, dude. That's awful.
Absolutely.
And so that stuff is going to be like slow to come back for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely, and it's funny because we were talking to this on the other day on the show, and people were saying that we're the only one open. I'm like, no, I know other states. We're just the only one on the news that everyone talks about, that Florida's the only state opened up.
Right.
So, because I know this, like your studio's open. Other studios in your area are open. Other things in your area is open.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, there's Oh, look, I can see the comments. Can't wait to get back dancing in person. Event entrepreneurs are a rare breed. Yes.
That is true.
Yes. They are a rare breed, right? Like, event directors have to stick their neck out. And back in the day, it was just stick your neck out financially, and now it's stick your neck out financially and the mob. Hello, Verdonk family.
Yeah, I think me and you were talking about this a couple weeks ago when we said, what's going to happen when hotels push back? Because as states open, they're gonna be held responsible for their end too.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this might be entertaining at least a little bit. So
I love
our contract for Derby City Swing, when we signed it, we normally sign it like our event's the end of January. So normally, like the month or so afterwards, we sign the contract. Well, they called me afterwards. They're like, hey, you want to sign the contract? I said, nope, we're in a pandemic. So they called me in the summer and they said, hey, you want to sign the contract? We got better deal for you. I said, I need no risk because we might not be able to do it.
Right.
And so my contract is the same. It's probably sitting right here. It's in this book. It's in this book.
I'm about to say, I've been to every one of your events. Your contract usually doesn't change much.
Yeah, it's the same contract with all the numbers and all the, if you don't give us all this business,
right,
we're going to charge you and you're going to be bankrupt, Brian B. That's how it works for events, right?
Yeah.
That's the risk we take on. And so it's what's called an attrition rate. So they guarantee this is the amount of business that I guarantee, they say, as long as you give us 80% of that, we're not going to charge you personally.
Yep.
So I said, okay, great. They write the whole contract all the same, but the attrition rate, instead of being 80% of what is normal, my attrition rate is 0. So I said, what does that mean? They said, well, you have to run the event, but all you have to do is come in and stay one night in the hotel and you've now run the event. So to me, I take that as I have no risk, right? So we get a month out from the event and I'm like, look, guys, I called the hotel. I said, look, there's no way. We can't run any kind of event. It's not like limited capacity. It's not happening.
Right.
So, we're officially canceling. And then they send me a bill. And I said, well, wait a minute. What do you mean a bill? They said, oh, well, because remember, the contract's still the same.
Yep.
All the cancellation fees are still the same.
Yep.
If I run the event, I owe them nothing. If I don't run the event and I cancel, I owe the cancellation fees, like tens of thousands of dollars. And so I called the guy back and I said, look, and by the way, the hotels aren't working off their A team. They're working off their D team.
C and D team.
Yeah, like the gal that I dealt with the hotel, she's long gone. She left in the summertime, so I'm dealing with Yahoo guy trying to hold together. And it's a rough life. It's rough for them too, right? Because they're lucky to have a job.
Working. They don't have any events going on. Right.
Yeah, and they're like doing their dishes in the background because they're working from home, and the kids are screaming when you call them. And so I said, look, man, I would love to do this, but I can't. And he's like, well, no, we want you to. I said, no, I can't. You see, because I tried to do an event with your hotel in October, and I put a deposit, which I've never got back. And you know why we couldn't do it? Effing COVID. COVID got in our studio, and half our teachers got COVID, and we had students and we had to close down and clean all that mess up. That's why we weren't able to do the event last time. So we can't do it. I tried. And and that was a fight. It was a fight. It was a fight to let them to get out of my contract.
It was funny because when Jen held Florida Classic, I got to the hotel like normal. And we had talked on my way to the hotel, and I walked in, and the head of the events were coming in for the first time in months. On the next day, he had not been in there. They came in to clean out the ballroom, but that's it. He hadn't worked an event in months.
Right.
The person that was technically in charge of the event, was like originally kitchen help that they have filling in. Had never seen a BEO in their life.
Yeah.
Never seen a BEO in their life. They didn't know it was definitely that feel. And I'm like, we're probably one of the easier events because it's the same. We've been in that hotel for so long. It's the same group of people been running the back end. Some of these hotels are going to have some issues when they reopen. I'm looking back. I'm like, this is not going to be pretty.
You go out to eat the same thing, right? Like it's not the best servers that are serving. It's like it's rough, dude. It's rough. By the way, Shane McKeever, if you're still watching, what's up, brother? I love you. I miss you.
And until we hit so we hit like phase 3, people didn't have to go back to work.
Yeah.
So we were able to open stuff in phase 2, but they didn't have to return back to work till phase 3 if they didn't want to. So it was anybody who could work. It was limited capacity. But slowly but surely stuff is opening up down here. Like Disney's been opened. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
So non-dance related question, because I know you're also a big UFC fan. Who do you got in the fight coming up?
Oh,
Connor or Dustin?
You gotta go. You gotta go with Connor because he's got the death touch.
And he's got the chip on his shoulder right now, I think.
Yeah, but it's like 60-40 Connor, right? Like if the odds were significant one way or the other, I would maybe place the bet the other way. But I mean, it's pretty classic, right? Like he's a dog, he can hang in there, right? He's not actually a complete front runner, but Poirier's got to get past the first 7 minutes. And yes, I've watched about 6 of Connor's past fights in the past week.
Oh, I'm sure.
I rewatched Diaz 2. I watched him and Poirier 1, the Mendez fight, I watched all that stuff.
Did you rewatch the Nate fight when he got tapped?
Yeah, I watched that a gajillion times. Yeah. Yeah, the second fight was better though. Second fight was way better.
It was. I'll agree. Kelly wants to know what's your bourbon of choice today because we know you have options. Weller, you went
Weller's Special
nice.
Reserve. I bought like 7 bottles of this on the secondary market. Literally, I was going out. I'm on like these bourbon pages that are. This is pretty funny for people who don't know. So there are these bourbon secondary pages where you can buy bourbon aftermarket. And years ago, people used to ship them around, and it's all like illegal. Well, the bourbon companies nixed all the pages, and slowly they came back. So this page I'm on, it's Louisville Furniture Club, right? Only private members, people, you have to know people to get in, and it's a process to get in. And then what people would do is they would post pictures of like, I'm selling this chair. And so they'd post a picture of this chair, and then down next to the chair
bottle of bourbon
would be the bottle of bourbon. And it was all by code. So you'd go like ISO 100, WSR. So in search of Weller Special Reserve $400. And that's what they would, so there's this whole code system. And so I ended up buying all these bottles of bourbon. They were like $90 on the shelf, like at my local liquor store, and people were selling them on the secondary market. Their real price was like $40. And so
you bought
dude, I met people in the back of their car outside of liquor stores in bad neighborhoods. I went to all.
Yeah, it was funny. Right after we moved up here to Orlando, a buddy of mine got me in on the Central Florida Bourbon Society Facebook page, and they always post where they find deals around here where stores put it at stupid low prices.
It's fun.
Mr. John Lindsay joining us.
What's
good
up,
afternoon,
Lindsay?
Gents.
And Sarah St. Pierre. Sarah, you guys need to come up. I've got some bourbon to share because over there when I was down in Wichita, I probably had a little too much of your husband's bourbon. So I probably owe a little bit back to that.
No, that would never have happened. And like Kelly says, if anyone wants to know what a normal conversation between us is, here you go. We'll jump topics left and right.
Yeah.
We talk baseball, bourbon, UFC, dancing, competition, events. We talk about it all.
See, you'll see. Where's the baseball? Hang on. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep, there's the baseball bats.
All the baseball stuff. That's the Louisville Grays. Was a baseball team in Louisville back in like 1876. Those are baseballs from all the spring training years that they made them. This is an ad, right there, for Louisville Slugger. Like I actually bought, and then these are baseball bats that people got me. It was an ad for Louisville Slugger that actually Ted Williams was in, and I bought the newspaper clipping and had it framed, and it's pretty cool.
Wow. Yep, this shirt.
Dude, you got to come up here. You guys have to come up.
I know. We haven't been there since the new house.
Dude, come on. It's awesome.
Definitely,
it's fun.
definitely
it's really
looking
cool.
forward to it. I remember getting the tour, the pictures. So lots has changed, obviously. You were one of my very first shows. I think it was, episode 4?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. I think all the way back in April. That will be middle of January the following year, and I'm still doing it. Almost 100 shows later.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats. It's badass. It's what
Fred
you do.
Whitehouse
awesome.
joining the party.
What's up, Fred?
Got everybody coming to party with us this afternoon, all the evening
it.
for all you guys. Y'all are probably laying in bed getting ready.
Cheers.
Getting ready to lay down. It's still afternoon for me and
it is
Superstar.
It's too early to be drinking this bourbon, but we're working on this new project, this new keto project, and I should be working on it, but I was like, my buddy, he helped me out the other day. I got to help him out. Okay, I have to start drinking bourbon at 5:00. Whatever.
Darn. Brian, Bonnie wants to know why you don't have a Kentucky accent.
Because I'm not from Kentucky. I grew up in Boston.
He's a northern boy.
Yeah. And when I moved to Kentucky, I probably still had a Boston accent. And I worked for a hotel, the Marriott Hotel. And so I heard all these people coming in every day. And I realized how ridiculous people sounded from certain areas. And then I kind of figured out that that's how my family sounded, and that's how I sounded. And so I tried to mellow it out. And so now you'll pick up some Boston things from me on occasion, but hopefully I don't have any Southern things. But I try to be
just your love of baseball.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes both ways, right? Growing up in Boston. And,
that's true.
I don't think people love baseball as much as they should here, but shit, with Louisville Sluggers made here, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Baseball dates back to the 1870s here.
Yeah, which is odd that they don't have a team there.
It's odd.
That like I look at the towns that have a lot of baseball history, and they don't have a team, which is like a lot of the older AA, the original teams. They don't have a pro team. Like for the longest time, Florida didn't have one.
Yeah.
And we did spring training here for how long?
No doubt. Yeah, I'll be back. I mean, for spring training. What's up, Daniel Tripat? We had some good times, man. Back in Pontins. We had some good times. I got some pictures I could share. Woo.
That's scary.
I got some really fun pictures.
It's funny, though, because I've been going through a lot of video footage for the CBAs, and I found all of the old footage of you and like Roy and Danny when he was younger, and for Donk when he was smaller, Rob Fowler when he had hair.
Is that a fat joke? That's awful.
No, but
speaking of which, Moose hunted this out. My retirement performance at Worlds 2011. He hunted that video down, and I found who videoed Worlds that year, and I sent them money because you can order the clip online. Then they sent me the money back, and they said they don't have the clip, and then they said they do, and we went back and forth. And like a week later, they sent me the freaking performance, my retirement performance, the single coolest moment I've had on the dance floor ever. And I finally got the clip, and I watched it once the other night, and let me just tell you that the video quality back in 2011 was awful.
Oh, yeah.
It was awful, and that was like state-of-the-art equipment,
right?
My iPhone 6, yes, I still have the 6,
is better than that. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, your quality of, Honky Tonk Highway podcast is better than that was back in the day.
Yeah, it's funny seeing some of the old video, and this is the video of people that had the jumbo cameras, massive tripods, microphones everywhere, and I put it on. I'm like, ouch. Like I sometimes I put on a video and I don't know what's worse, the video quality or the sound quality.
It's awful.
It's both have been pretty hit or miss awful. I'm like, ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's scary what you can do with technology these days, especially with a cell phone. It's crazy.
It's
absolutely
nuts.
Crazy.
To watch people who have an iPhone and have 250,000 people on a YouTube channel, and they're making a couple $100,000 a year.
It was funny because you remember when I got banned from Facebook when I had to start a whole new account.
Yeah. I was surprised. Like, it's cool that your name is actually your name again.
Right. I know. Now that I finally was able to put it as my name, but. For those who don't know, back after Chicago a couple years ago, we were at Chicago, and I got barred from Facebook. Got reported for violating someone's rights. Thankfully, the company page didn't go, just they took my personal page down. So I had to start a whole new one. Well, what's funny is they blocked a bunch of the old videos we had that came through with me as the broadcaster. Well, they've been starting to unrelease them and giving them back to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you're telling me. So all of a sudden I'll get a notification. I'll be looking through my analytics, and it'll pop up. This was posted on January 8th, 2021, and it was a video from 2016 that got put back in on January 8th. It took away all the comments, but it told me how many views I had at that time and how many people were watching, how many people shared it. We found one that had been shared 211 times. Had like 300,000 views.
Wow.
Like 720 something like likes. I'm just like, and it hasn't been seen in 3 years. This is what was seen back then.
When it stopped, right?
When it stopped.
Right.
Can you imagine what some of those videos would be at now if they never been taken down?
Yep.
That's crazy back what Facebook would allow us to do.
I got some cool strategies that I'm using. We'll have to talk off camera that I'm using on Facebook ads to drive I came up with this cool strategy to drive views. So for one business, the low carb business, right, we got views to like 3 to 4 cents for people to see a particular post. And then we got it down to like a penny. And then I use this other cool strategy. And so when you look at the cost per view, it's .0005. So like 1/20th of a cent. It's pretty crazy when you see how many people can actually come across your stuff. That's what's cool about all this stuff. Like back in the day, you'd have a TV station, and way back when there was like 3 TV stations. Then there was cable, and there was like 100. Then there was multiple cables, and there was hundreds. And now there's like hundreds of thousands of channels of information and cool stuff, and you don't have to be the one singular breakthrough that gets into that channel to have an audience and be able to keep up with what you want. I mean, come on, we're talking random stuff to an audience of dancers, and there's people watching. That's cool.
Right. And like I can ship this to Facebook. It goes out to any Facebook page I want. It goes to YouTube at the same time. I can send it.
We did our first studio showcase, and people have done this, but we just launched our first live studio showcase, and it was a headache for them to edit all the videos, and it was weird to come in and do the thing. But then it was fun. We went home, and at 7 o'clock at night, it popped on, and we all sat in front of the TV, and we furiously messaged everyone while it was live, and then 45 minutes in, Facebook cut us off because of the music, but then the video stayed up after that, and then we...
Right.
Yeah. But now it goes to YouTube, and we can watch it there, but it was pretty cool. Like, it was really, really cool. I mean, put it this way, Allison, who I think Allison jumped in on something else on Facebook today. We'd videoed her before
when she was still pregnant.
When she was still pregnant, and then she had a baby. So by the time the showcase came out, she already had a baby. She was at home taking care of a baby.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember when I popped up the other day. That was cool, because I'm sure everyone still wants to dance. They still want to find a way to make it happen on doing the showcases and stuff like that.
Yeah, crazy.
So
yeah, the showcase was pretty cool, I have to say. I was not super sold on the idea, but it doesn't matter if I was sold on it or not. That's just what we have to do, and It turned out really cool, like really, really cool. And talk about video quality, we're not horrible at video because we do a lot for West Coast Swing Online, but it's like the quality of that video was like way better than what they did even 5 years ago for anything.
Yeah.
And that was not paying close attention. We used multiple cameras, and maybe the frame rates weren't the same, and the lighting wasn't ideal, and all the technical mumbo jumbo wasn't on point, and it was still really good. Of course, we do have a couple nice cameras and lighting and all that stuff.
Yeah, you have a pretty nice setup up there. I've come up and played many a times. I still think the favorite video shoot trip was when we did the bridge stuff.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I love doing the stuff on the bridge and finding that place down by the little transfer station on the water.
So this is my 2021, one of my goals, and I do have goals. There's like a board to my right that has all my goals, and one of them, and I got this idea on my RV trips, I want to do a basic West Coast Swing routine, right? But I want to shoot it at a bunch of my favorite national parks. So you can watch the same routine being done in Arches National Park, and being done at Bryce Canyon, and being done at the Grand Canyon, and being done at Zion, and being done in Sedona, and being done at you name it. Where else am I missing?
Let me guess. Flip through it as the routine changes. It changes locations in the background.
Yeah, like you're watching the thing, but it just changes where we're at.
Location.
And it might take me half the year to shoot, right?
Still.
You got to get all the footage because they got to drive between those places and set up and shoot.
Places.
Dude, and then you'll come out and you'll do the drone.
What'd be cool too, wear the same outfit every time you dance. That way it looks like it's just the rotating video behind it.
That is my life's work. So years ago, remember the Savoys?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right? The theater arts, they were World Theater Arts people.
They were crazy.
And they put out a calendar. This just shows you what is possible today versus then. They put out a calendar that had them doing lifts in front of all these amazing monuments across the world. And they said that was their life's work, all of their travels. And they would do these lifts and these photos in all these places. And then one year they came out with a calendar. We could do that with minimal equipment, and it would be cooler. And you could do videos, you could do stills, you could do drone shots, you could do everything on it's not that hard.
Right. It's not like it was back in those days where you needed to have you can literally shoot, boom, be gone before anybody even realizes it.
Dude, I have pictures up in my house, right? Like that we had framed and stuff from the RV trip that were taken with an iPhone.
Right.
Like with an iPhone, and they're badass pictures, and they're framed, and they're all over the house, and they look gorgeous. And now the iPhone 6 didn't do a good job, but the 10 and above were amazing.
Right. Like the photo I used for you today, the circle was one I shot in Louisville.
Yeah, with an iPhone.
With an iPhone.
I was like, no way, that's gonna look good, and it did.
Boom. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that video shoot was cool.
Yeah, I shot that entire. I remember we shot this entire video shoot. We thought it wasn't going to work because the light was changing. It was crazy bright out that day. It was crazy, and I shot the whole video shoot with a GoPro and an iPhone. I remember this. I shot the whole thing on a GoPro on a gimbal, and then an iPhone.
What's up, Darren? Kelly says, "Oh, Maddie's here. What's up, Maddie?"
Maddie asked what she missed, and Kelly was like, "Bourbon talk, dance event, fights, baseball."
Yep. Maybe when you're shooting a run into CJ. Oh. CJ. Do you remember CJ? He shot my very first instructional video like in 2000 on Redondo Beach Pier.
Oh, wow.
On Redondo Beach Pier. I was in my Superstar production, maybe 2001. Yeah, the picture's up there. Yeah, on Redondo Beach Pier in the morning, like right as sunrise was coming up. And I did a whole video technique thing on Redondo Beach Pier, and he shot like all the footage of us driving to the pier, and like for its day, it was so cool. So cool.
Yeah, what you can do now is just amazing. I absolutely love it.
It is amazing.
The way technology, like you said, what I do. I'm sitting here with like two computer screens, a computer, an iPad, a couple cameras, a microphone, and I'm able to just randomly go live.
Yeah. I'm setting up downstairs the I think I told you, I've got the camera set up in a fixed location, so it's the same camera that we use for West Coast Radio Online, but right. I bought its own tripod and its own lighting setup, and so it's all set up and taped off, and
there you go.
Yeah, I can just walk downstairs, sit in front of the camera. My laptop sits like right off the screen, right here, right? So I can type on it right off screen, and I can look, and I can literally reach this far to the camera. And it's I got to set the backdrop up a little bit, but it's so cool because I can go shoot marketing videos and walk down there. I have to do it when we get off the phone, and like, and
I put "we got phone" on your to-do list.
That's Alexa.
Apparently, Alexa's telling you need a.
Dude, she talked out of nowhere today. We're talking about this keto diet summit we're doing, and all of a sudden she spits out something about Ghostbusters, and the Ghostbusters song starts to play, and I'm like, no one said her name to turn her on, and the Ghostbusters song started playing throughout the whole bottom floor of the house, because we got all the Alexas linked together on the main floor. It was a little eerie.
So when we first moved up here, we have two Google Assistants. Because Kelly got an alarm clock of one, and we liked it, so we got one for the kitchen. Well, when we lived with her parents down in Boca, when we had the second floor, we had them all linked. So that way we can control anything from anywhere in the house. Well, first week we're here, we moved, we get everything set up. We set up, think everything's fine. We come home. We come home like at 2 o'clock in the morning one night from hanging out with Trevor and them. And Kelly goes, "Hey, Google, turn on the lights." And she responds back, "Okay, turning on all 6 or 7 lights," or something like that. And Kelly just looked at me, she goes, "Oh, crap. Hey, Google, turn off lights." Apparently she turned on every light in her parents' house at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, shit.
3 hours away.
Yeah, so at the old house, it was smaller than this, and I had it wired up. I had everything wired up.
Yep.
So I would say, "Hey, start my day," and it would like shut the lights off in my bedroom, and it would turn the lights on in the front of the house, and it would like read my schedule and read the weather and all that stuff. And then I would say, "Hey, I'm going to bed," and it would shut the lights off in the living room and turn my lights off in the bedroom. But then the problem came with, I was out of town, and the housekeeper came in, and I told her all the codes, what to say to turn the lights on, because everything was hooked into the smart home. But at her house, the housekeeper, her name is Lucy. At Lucy's house, she used Google. So she would say, "Okay, Google," and then say the commands. And the short answer was, she couldn't turn any of the lights on in the house. And so I was like, this is not good for house guests. So we moved in here. It was before Thanksgiving, and I had family coming over, and so none of the downstairs is wired in to the, all the lights are normal. My bedroom is set up on commands, and
that's funny.
Yeah, she couldn't turn the lights on. I was like, that's stupid. You know, you come in, you can't turn the stupid light on.
Crazy. Any big trips planned coming up?
Yeah, so the plan is we've got this big project that launches the 5th, 6th, 7th of February. So it's literally balls to the wall between now and then. It's like an event. It's like running an event, right? You're nervous, putting all the pieces together. It launches, and then you have a couple days to clean up everything and then put it to bed. So by like mid-ish February, that's put to bed. And if it works well, that's a good chunk of change for the business, which means I can breathe a little bit. And then the goal is it's not written on the account. Yes, it is. My dad is in Florida the end of February through like the middle of March. And so he's renting a house down there, kind of snowbirding a little bit. And this is what we did last year. It's like the last trip we took and so I hung out with him. Yeah, and then I came across to hang out with you guys and do spring training baseball and all that stuff. So that's basically the same plan, probably minus spring training baseball. I'll probably take the RV down there, so we'll get to hang out with that.
Nice.
And then I don't know exactly the groove, but the RV is going to end up getting driven to Arizona, and it's going to live there. So that way we want to do these trips, I can just say, Kelly, fly to Phoenix, and we'll fly out to Phoenix, we'll pick up the RV, and we'll drive it to wherever we want, and then I'll just leave it in storage and drive home from there. And it'll stay packed with everything we need, and I'll just run around out west.
Nice.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I like it.
Yeah, because if you, most of what I do, I can run virtually, right? So I just need to have internet connection and plan things out, and I can pretty much stay, I go to the studio once a week maybe, so to be gone for 2-3 weeks is not a big deal.
Right.
So that's the goal. The RV still needs a little work. It's got a exhaust leak needs to be fixed, but other than that, it's in good shape. The interior is fantastic. It got all refurbed. I haven't even shared any pictures of that. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I don't know if I have any pictures. I have pictures of what it looked like when it was junky.
I think I remember I called you when you picked up and go, yeah, I'm driving. I just bought an RV. Wait, what? Yeah.
Dude, I bought an RV and a house in the same week.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. Most people don't do that.
That's what it looks. That's what it looks like now.
Oh, that's nice, man. That's going to be nice.
Right. So it's all like nice new fixtures and all that stuff. And then I don't know what it looked like before.
Not that.
Yeah, it was like super old school wood junky.
Yeah.
The exterior looks crazy. You want to know what the license plate is? It's a Class C RV. So the license plate is Class, CLASS, CAF. Classy as fuck.
That's funny.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
That is. It's kind of fitting for you. It is kind of fitting.
It's fitting. Like a little, not redneck, but a little blue collar with a little white collar. Yeah.
So, any desire to get back on the competition floor?
That's a good question, and the answer is none. This is a crazy thing, right? Because I just moved, and so you have to go through everything, right? You unpack everything. I lived in the same place for the last 8 years, and so you unpack everything. You go through every single box to put it away, because now all of a sudden I have more space to move everything in. And I realized I was living in a space that was like half as big as the stuff that I had. Like my bourbon collection was like overtaking the kitchen table, and now it's in its own bar downstairs. And I don't know if we've talked about this, but like when you go through every picture, every box of awards, everything, it's this crazy like holy shit, the last 2 decades of my life of dancing.
Yeah.
And so this office that I'm sitting in, you can't see all of it, but like, it's just incredible, the memories and all this stuff that all came from dancing. And it was a little bit for me like the end of that chapter. Right? Because like I line danced from 97 and I competed all the way through 2010, and then the shit happened. Kathy Bittner fucked me. And I know all the people that voted again. Anyways, that shit happened in like at the beginning of 2011, and I had my retirement from line dance, and then, you know, I had a couple years I danced ballroom, 2-3 years I danced American rhythm, and then years later I came back in masters with Megan. And that was like the culmination, right? My last salvo of competing for 2.5 years and doing my best. And we got all the way to second place, one dance away from winning. And it was almost cooler that I didn't win, because you know, I have trophies and that's fun and that's cool, but I went through the whole process again, knowing everything that I knew. And I had that cool experience, and that you can't ask for anything more. And so I was like, you know, I'm 45. I'm never going to be the best again. It's not about that. It's just cool that I got to be cool, you know, the cool guy at one point, and got to have all these cool opportunities. Like, all that behind me is like one passport on that. I don't even know how to point to it. Right there. That's like my passport.
Right.
And, you know, and like all the cool places that I've been all around the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you can look at that stuff and think it's awesome, and then you go, okay, what's important now? And it becomes, oh shit, like what about the people that went along for the ride, like you know, you and Louie, and there's just these cool people that have been there the whole way, and you're like, well shit, it doesn't matter whether it's dancing or otherwise, these people are now important.
Right.
And I can still keep the dancing going through the studio and the events and still give back to that community. And then just do fun things that aren't necessarily dance related for myself. So
it was funny because we were talking the other day about past worlds.
Yeah.
And it was brought up when I think it was when I had Cody on. And Cody
I saw that. That's cool. I need to go back and watch that. I love that guy.
And me and John Lindsay were talking about how, because back in the day when the place was packed, and we both remember sitting up in the rafters, you came back and you did the handstand into your hat.
Younger years.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But it was the place. We still remember you have a packed house at the Gaylord in Nashville, Tennessee. Thousands among thousands of people. And that place erupted when you hit that.
Yeah.
Absolutely erupted. But I know I was super thankful because I didn't get to be there for the Hall of Fame induction. I watched it online. But I was there the weekend, which was really cool. On a whim, me and Kelly came up to Birmingham, Christmas in Dixie. And it happened to be the same weekend, the same day. Aaron qualified for Superstars. You and Megan won Division I on Friday night to qualify for Masters. And turn around and dance Masters and won it on Saturday night to qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, so for those people who don't know, and this is the stuff that for me is like so effing cool, because Aaron, that just got reposted, that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I have 2 long-running students that were both with me for like a decade, right? So that's an incredible journey to go 10 years with people. Megan Anderson was one of them. Aaron Abel was the other. Megan later became my partner, and she now teaches the studio. Aaron continued, started novice, worked her way up, won advanced pro-am. Then she started in line dance. Took her forever to get to Superstars, got to Superstars. She never wanted to win, because I always preach to my students that it's not about winning, it's about the process and the journey, right? You can't control if you're going to win. You can control how you prepare. You can control how you're seen. You can control your performance, but you can't control like who wins. And so it was cool for me so that day that you were there, Megan and I decided we were going to dance in September. And I have a terrible back, so I didn't know if I could handle practicing again. And we're like, we'll try it for a week or 2 and see how it goes. And we get to that December, and we need one more win to qualify for Masters, and then we have to dance advanced and win on Friday, and then dance Masters that night, Saturday night, to qualify to dance Masters at Worlds. And at the same weekend, Erin, my student, is getting her last point for Superstars, so she can dance Superstars at Worlds. And it all happened on the same night, basically. We got our point to make Masters. Erin got her point to make Superstars. And so we have this really cool picture of the three of us, like toasting in our blue outfits. And then a year later, it's the 20th anniversary of Superstars. I'm long past competing, but my student that literally walked through my studio door, brand new to any of this, is now dancing in Superstars. She finished like middle of the pack. Shout out to Siobhan Dunn, because I know, let's talk about this. Siobhan caught some flack for her routine this past Worlds that we did have.
Right.
And people were terrible to her. Like, it was this Jesus routine, and she kicked baby Jesus, and it was this terrible thing. And Siobhan is like a super sweet girl and a people pleaser. Well, the year before, she's competing for the Superstar title, right? It's like a battle. And if you're the one that goes last in the rotation, you have recency principle. Yep. It's better to go last than to go first in the solos.
Correct.
So you want to draw, like if you draw your number, you pick the last place. She draws. The last spot to go is available. She looks across the room at Erin, who she doesn't know from Adam, and she says, "Hey, I heard you have a really inspirational solo routine. Would you like to go last? Because I'll pick a different number so you can pick last." I don't know if anyone knows that.
That's awesome.
And she allows Erin, my good friend and student, to go last with this inspirational routine, which for Erin was basically her last time on the dance floor. She achieved her goal of belonging in the Superstar division, and it wasn't about winning for her. And I think Siobhan ended up winning anyways, which was cool. And it was incredible. It was an incredible moment. So that's the stuff. To answer your question a long-winded way, like, I don't miss it, because what more could I ask for dancing than all those cool moments?
Right.
So yeah, no desires. But that's why I keep myself busy. I'm trying to run an ultra marathon in April, and I don't know if I can, but it's my athletic endeavor to see if I can keep my body together to do that. Although it's
makes sense.
Disgustingly slower than my earlier years.
Maddie wants to know, do you ever plan on being a judge in the UC?
Good question. So pre your time, Maddie, I was one of the first people to go through the judge certification for line dance, and I passed my test and all that stuff. And and then I didn't realize that you recertified every year and you give the money and all that stuff. And so it just became not a let me credit the people that do sit in the judging panel, because it's a job that it's a job, right? They have to sit there for a long time. They get paid virtually nothing. They have to go to all their certifications, and they have to go through the process. And the UCWDC judges certification system is actually quite solid. But they have to put in a lot of effort to sit on that panel.
Right.
And for me, selfishly, I just didn't want to dedicate that much time to make no money. So I just focused on my studio and our students and our teachers, and didn't want to spend the rest of that time doing it. So short answer, probably not. I feel personally that the best place that I'm suited is outside of the organization and helping people from the outside rather than from the inside. It's a different skill set. It's a political skill set, and you have to, take one for the team, and the people that sit on those panels are, bless their hearts, there's some really, really good ones. They're really, really mostly good ones. Good people doing their best, and it's a thankless job. And so I'm thankful that other people are doing that job. But my job is to teach people online. My job is to run a studio. My job is to replace myself with newer talent, and
right.
that's where I sit. I'm not suited for the political world of a dance organization, and that's not speaking disparagingly about it.
It was funny because you'll have a giggle at this. So we did one show last week where it was a straight up, it was a would you go to a dance event show. I asked people straight up, would you go to a dance event? if the one was held. And we were discussing back and forth about different scenarios people were on, and someone said, "You should run for office." To me.
Oh.
I'm like,
Oops.
"No, you don't want that. Trust me." I have a habit of asking the questions that everyone wants. That's not good in politics.
Well, it's a different, and I realized this when I tried to have a UC event, right? I thought that, man, if people understand my vision and I can just, I'm kind of type A and straightforward, and I just realized that you need a different skill set, and there are people that have that like Robert Royston, who makes everyone in the room feel like $1 million. Right. I wish I had that, because I feel that on the inside. I just don't have that skill set as a person. And we had, for those who don't know, Jacob Thornton is 20 years old. He's a third-generation dancer. So his grandparents were inducted, if not to the UCWDC Hall of Fame, to the
It was ACDA, pioneers. Right?
What's that?
Wasn't it to the ACDA Hall of Fame or something like that?
Yeah, but they were like Pioneer Award winners for the UC. Yep. So like ground floor UCWDC, right? His dad and mom are dancers. His dad co-owns a studio. So he is a third-generation dancer. And coming out of college, coming out of high school, I asked his mom, I said, "What's Jacob going to do, go to college?" She says, "No, he really wants to dance." I said, "Well, hey, I've got a spot open in my studio." And so they came out and they visited, and I remember standing out front taking a picture. And I said, "Look, man, and this is what people don't understand." I said, "I don't know what people think about me from afar, but when Jacob comes here, we will take care of him like he's our own, and we will put him on the right path. We'll teach him the right stuff. We'll make sure he stays in the right path personally and financially, and that he grows as a person and as a dancer." And he has, right? And people don't get that about me from afar, because I don't have that like winning personality from afar. But if you kind of get in our ecosphere, my mom has worked for me for 8 years, right? I talk to my mom and my dad just about every day, and I've got long-running friends like yourself and people that have. I miss
the Hammer. I still remember the first time.
Great.
I remember the first time I met him, and if anybody asks, like when I go up for Brian's events, it's funny because Kelly hates it, because we'll fly in, we'll work, we will literally work all day. We'll load trucks, we'll get everything set. Just when you think that we both are tired, we'll go get something to eat, and then we'll stay up till probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning talking about all sorts of stuff, to the point where we'll turn around and she'll be passed out on the couch. Usually that's how it goes. And then we get up at 7-8 o'clock the next morning and do it all over again to set up the event. That's just how we do when we're there. It's great. I remember when we came up, we watched we decided to come up for the weekend. Jen ended up booking a dodgeball event in Indiana. We flew into Lexington, drove up, did the event, put the floor down in like 3-4 hours, drove back to Louisville, and we went to the track, and we watched the Preakness at Churchill Downs. Yeah, because we might have broke a little rule there.
A little drone flying in there. They've slowly locked that place down, which is kind of sad.
I'm sure now.
Derby week, Louie and I used to be able to sneak out to the track and sit on the rail the week of the Derby and watch the horses train.
Right.
And now they've actually got it on, after 145 years, they finally actually have it locked down and not let, Brian B. and his goofy friends sit on the edge of the rail with
I know, for
Krispy
being
donuts.
all the security, it was quite easy the day we flew it into it. It was
quite easy.
Quite easy. You snuck in, you got in position, flew it up over a wall, took a picture, flew it back up over a wall, and we're gone. It was way easier than it should have been for a place like Churchill.
Yeah.
So, but huge thank you for coming on and filling in for my episode 99, brother.
Yeah, man, always
last minute.
Always a pleasure. We got so much to cover too, so much more to do in this 2021.
Speaking of the devil, this is funny. Yo, can I call you right back? I'm finishing up my
who's
show.
That?
It's Guyton.
That's awesome. What's up, G?
Right, I'll call you right back. Bye. And that's probably Kelly texting me saying, who's on the phone? That's funny. I had a feeling that was going to be Guyton. Guyton was going to call me because we're setting up to go there tomorrow. That's funny. He's calling right as I end.
This is odd, and I'm going to drop this, and you're a little bit of this inspiration, right?
I love it.
right? Like what is 2021 for me, and what are the things that I've wanted to do? And I had a conversation with my developer the other day. He actually met his wife in my studio, and now he's a developer and he works for us and does a couple projects for us. And so he's like, man, are you ever going to do those start now videos again? You know, which was like, start now, like get your shit together, like handle your future, do the things that are important. And that was my hangout with you, right? I was that year you came down, I was like, man, I'm just going to take the people that are most important to me. And you're always like, hey, we're going to get together, we should get together, and you never do. And I was like, F it. I said, what weekend are you free? Let's buy a plane ticket, let's get together. And so I decided to like rededicate myself. And I did all these videos about start now and get your, you know, focus on the things that are important. And my goal for 2021 has been in the back of my brain for months, which is to start some sort of motivational, like you can do it, whether it's fitness or whether it's your life's goals or whatever, right? And so I literally started a page. I'm going to start a little quick email list. And so if anyone's interested to start now, like,
love it.
8 years ago, I had back surgery and I was selling shit out of my closet to pay my bills. For real. Like the end of 2012, early 2013, I was selling shit out of my closet to pay my bills because I was down for 9 weeks with a back surgery. And I spent that year building a business and that has sustained us through the pandemic, thankfully, with a lot of carnage. And so anyways, I'm going to drop a link below this that anyone who wants to follow this journey for Start Now, you can, and I'm going to dedicate myself. If anyone signs up, if no one signs up, then no one's following and I won't do it. I still will do it, but I won't do it right away. But if anyone signs up, I'll start doing it right away. And so one of the things was like, when you click on this link, you'll see a little page and it will say, I made this video right before I came on, by the way.
I love it.
I was like, shit, I go talk to Kelly. I got to make something out of this. What's the reason? What's the meaning, right, for me?
Boom.
And so I did a quick video and I was like, you know, they told me that you shouldn't drop out of college. You'll never go back. And I ended up starting a business. Yep. And then I started dancing and they were like, you shouldn't dance because you have a business, like you're being stupid. You'll never amount to anything. And then it took me around the world. And then years later, what do they say? Man, it must be nice to follow your passions and have a living around what
right?
you love to do. I'm like, it's because I couldn't listen to you earlier, right? And I've just always done these things. And so, you know, what's next? I don't know. I'm going to try to make $10,000 in a weekend with this new project. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm trying like hell. I'm going to try to run an ultra marathon in April. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm trying like hell. Yeah. It's rough.
Oof.
It's rough. I've been doing like an hour and a half of workouts every day. It's crazy. So if anyone wants to follow along on this crazy journey, if it's business-wise or if it's fitness-wise or if it's just dedicating yourself to the important things in life, I'm going to drop a link in this little thing and you can watch this goofy video and sign up and follow along the journey.
Awesome. Guys, hope you enjoyed it.
Now.
It was a great time always talking with my brother. Hopefully y'all enjoyed what we talked about. One of these times when I come up, we'll do a whole show live from Louisville. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. But thank you so much. Number 99, bro. 99.
Congratulations, man. Keep at it.
I never thought, first of all, enough people would want to keep watching me talk. First of all. And then apparently I realized that randomly I have some pretty good info. And I've been around a lot, and I pay attention. And I ask, and like I said the other day, I ask the questions everyone wants to know the answers to, but no one wants to ask. And I have no problems asking them.
Yeah, man. And that's it was cool. Like Maddie was like, hey, do you know my journey.
Right.
So it's almost silly for you to ask, like, why don't you judge? But like people just don't know when you've been around a little bit.
And that's why I asked it, because I knew a lot of people in here didn't know why, but it would be a good piece of information.
Yeah.
So, but guys, tomorrow, as you can tell by the phone call, I'm going to the Guyton compound. It's my birthday in 6 hours. I turned 41. I'm almost getting closer to you. 41 years old.
I've stopped. You're catching up.
Yeah, I'm slowly. Yeah.
I'll wait for you.
So tomorrow, guys, I'm going to the Guyton compound. 2 hours. Me and Guyton going crazy. Episode 100. Hope you enjoyed the show today, guys. Until
That's
tomorrow.
brilliant. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.